Let me paint the picture for you. Sunday night was supposed to be electric. The Cleveland Browns under the lights, the Detroit Lions across the field, and millions of fans glued to their screens waiting for that moment, the return of Shedeur Sanders. This wasn't just another football game. This was supposed to be the game. The kind that pulls families together around the TV, the kind that packs sports bars, the kind that trends worldwide before kickoff. But what we got instead wasn't just disappointing. It was catastrophic. Because when Kevin Stefanski made the call to roll with Joe Flacco again, keeping Shedeur Sanders on the sideline, everything changed. Fans didn't just sigh or complain. They revolted. They shut off their TVs. They abandoned the broadcast. They turned their backs not just on the Browns, but on the NFL itself. And the ripple effects, they've been nothing short of seismic. The Browns didn't just lose to the Detroit Lions. They lost something far more valuable, their audience. Sources with direct knowledge of broadcast metrics say the team obliterated its viewership base in real time. The numbers tell a brutal story.
Tired of boring phone cases? Here's your chance. My Etsy shop is packed with exclusive designs that let you show off your team pride in style. And the best part, you'll unlock discounts when you hit favorite, more savings when you add to cart, and even surprise discounts on your second purchase. Don't wait. Click the link in the description and grab your favorite now.
The moment the starting lineups were announced and Flacco was confirmed while Shedeur Sanders stayed inexplicably benched, fans made their decision. They didn't stick around. They didn't wait and hope. They turned the game off. Watch parties ended mid-drive. Streaming apps were closed and deleted. This wasn't a slow decline, this was a collapse. Nielsen data backs it up. Nearly 40% of viewers vanished the moment the lineups dropped. Think about that. Nearly half the audience gone before Cleveland even touched the football. And here's the kicker. People weren't just expecting a win. They were expecting Shedeur Sanders. They tuned in for the energy, the spark, the unpredictability. The chance to see a young star make ordinary games feel like must-watch events. Instead, they got Flacco and they left. Social media erupted like a bomb. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all flooded instantly. Fans weren't just venting, they were documenting their rebellion. TikTok creators went viral showing themselves turning off the broadcast. Hashtags like #PlayShedeur, #FireStefanski, #NoShedeur dominated the night. A single tweet racked up over 3 million impressions in just 2 hours. The Browns without Shedeur are unwatchable. We're done until number 12 is back on the field. And these weren't just casual fans. This wasn't bandwagon energy. These were lifelong Browns supporters. People who had stuck with the franchise through endless coaching changes, botched draft picks, and heartbreak. Even they had enough. Some season ticket holders began listing their seats during the game. Sports bars in Cleveland reported customers asking to change the channel away from the Browns. That's not just anger, that's abandonment. On the field, things only got worse. Flacco looked lost against Detroit's relentless defense. Conservative play calling, 3-and-outs, punts piling up. Meanwhile, the Lions did the exact opposite. Big plays, fast tempo, highlight moments. By halftime, it was already over. Detroit cruising, Cleveland collapsing. And the viewers? They weren't flipping to another game. They were flipping off football entirely. Netflix traffic spiked. YouTube surged. For one of the first times in modern NFL history, fans weren't switching, they were quitting. Then came Stefanski's post-game press conference, and if you thought the game was bad, this was a total disaster. When pressed on why Sanders didn't play despite the catastrophic performance, his answer was robotic. Joe gives us the best opportunity to win. The room exploded. Reporters challenged him about the 40% ratings collapse, about fans demanding refunds for Sunday ticket. His answers: deflections, awkward pauses. You could see the confidence draining from him in real time. And make no mistake, the league noticed. By Monday morning, sources say NFL executives were holding emergency calls. Because let's be clear, the NFL is an entertainment business first, a sports league second. And when one team's decision tanks primetime viewership, that shakes the entire empire. Network partners were furious. They paid billions for broadcast rights expecting Shedeur Sanders to be a centerpiece of the product. Advertisers built campaigns around him. Sponsors invested in his image. One marketing executive admitted privately, Shedeur drives engagement we haven't seen since Mahomes' early years. Benching him forces us to rethink our entire strategy. Another said bluntly, we paid for Shedeur. Instead, we're tied to dysfunction and declining ratings. And it's not just business partners. Inside the Browns' locker room, frustration is boiling. Veterans know where their money comes from: TV revenue, salary caps, contracts. And when the team's decisions tank ratings, that affects the entire league's bottom line. Reports suggest players are openly questioning Stefanski's leadership. One offensive lineman reportedly said behind closed doors, "We're not just losing games, we're losing fans, money, and credibility." Defensive leaders admitted they were exhausted, forced back onto the field again and again because the offense couldn't sustain drives. So what do we have here? We've got a coach clinging to Joe Flacco, while a generational talent, Shedeur Sanders, wastes away on the sidelines. We've got fans revolting, networks panicking, sponsors demanding answers, and players quietly doubting the leadership. The Browns aren't just in trouble. They're in free fall. And unless this franchise wakes up and makes the only move that matters, they're not just going to lose games. They're going to lose everything. Because this isn't football anymore. This is organizational malpractice. I need to be completely honest with you. What's happening with the Cleveland Browns right now is unlike anything we've seen in years. It's not just a quarterback controversy. It's not just about wins and losses. What we're witnessing is a slow-motion collapse of organizational credibility, a disaster unfolding in real time, with Shedeur Sanders stuck right in the middle of it all. Now, let me say this up front. Shedeur Sanders is everything you want in a young quarterback. His professionalism is unmatched for someone so early in his NFL journey. He's the guy who shows up before everyone else, throws himself into every practice rep, supports his teammates when the cameras are rolling and when they're not, and avoids the kind of headlines that derail so many young players. His entire persona has been built around composure, focus, and leadership. But after Sunday, even he couldn't completely hide his frustration, and that should terrify everyone in Cleveland's front office. Because if Shedeur Sanders, the one steady presence in this entire storm, is showing visible cracks in his composure, you know the situation has crossed a line. On the sideline, the cameras didn't just catch him watching the game, they caught him shaking his head, pointing toward the field, talking with intensity to his coaches. His body language screamed the truth. He didn't need to say a single word for everyone to understand it. He was furious. And he had every right to be. Behind the scenes, people close to Sanders have already started quietly evaluating his future. Look, I'm not saying a trade is happening tomorrow. He's on a rookie deal, and that makes any kind of movement complicated. But what I am saying is this: his camp is already asking questions that no team should ever want their franchise quarterback's camp to be asking. Is Cleveland truly the place to develop into the star he's destined to become? Is this organization providing the competitive stability, the coaching alignment, and the vision that a quarterback of his caliber deserves? These conversations are real, and they're happening now. And that's the frightening part for Cleveland. Because when a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders starts questioning his environment, it's never just about him. It's about the ripple effect. Future draft classes are watching this dysfunction. Elite quarterback prospects are going to remember what Cleveland is doing right now when it's their turn to walk across that stage. Free agents who could strengthen this roster will think twice before committing their prime years to a franchise that benches the one guy who embodies hope. The league pays attention to this stuff. The Browns aren't just damaging their present, they're jeopardizing their future. Kevin Stefanski's position has never been weaker. His authority is collapsing with every passing week. His decisions are being dissected, criticized, and outright ridiculed. You know the rule in the NFL. Coaches can survive losses if they still command the locker room, if they still have the support of the fans, and if the organization believes in them. Right now, Stefanski is losing all three at the same time. And when that happens, there's usually only one outcome. Owner Jimmy Haslam is stuck in a no-win situation. His admiration for Shedeur Sanders is well known. His frustration with Stefanski's choices is no longer a secret. But firing a head coach in the middle of the season would unleash chaos. It would send a signal of panic, it would confirm organizational dysfunction, and it would push the competitive timeline back even further. But keeping Stefanski? That's allowing this crisis to fester, allowing it to drag down the team, the fan base, and even the business side of the franchise. This isn't just football anymore. This is about brand value, about stadium attendance, about television ratings, and about whether the Browns can maintain any credibility with their own fans. The ratings collapse on Sunday was catastrophic. Nearly 40% of viewers abandoned the broadcast once they realized Shedeur Sanders wasn't starting. Think about that. People didn't just grumble and keep watching. They left. They turned off the television. They walked away from the team they've supported for years. That is unheard of. And if you don't think networks, sponsors, and league officials are panicking about that, then you're not paying attention. The NFL is a business first, and when a single franchise starts bleeding ratings like that, alarms go off at every level. And let's not overlook the fans. Cleveland fans have endured decades of heartbreak at the quarterback position. They've seen busts, failures, bad trades, and wasted opportunities. When Shedeur Sanders arrived, he wasn't just another quarterback, he was the light at the end of a very dark tunnel. He was the belief that finally, the Browns had a quarterback worth building around. So when Stefanski benched him, it wasn't just a coaching decision. To the fans, it was betrayal. And the reaction has been explosive. Boycotts are forming. Merchandise is being returned. Entire sections of fans are organizing viewing protests. One fan leader said it best, "We're not abandoning the Browns. We're demanding accountability. We're demanding respect." Because benching Shedeur Sanders while trotting out an inferior option isn't just a bad decision, it's an insult to our intelligence. The national media is circling like sharks. Every major sports network has dedicated hours of coverage to this disaster. Podcasts are dissecting every angle. Former players are weighing in, and they're not holding back. Hall of Fame coaches are saying openly that organizational intervention is necessary. One legendary Super Bowl winning coach summed it up perfectly on live television. Kevin is coaching himself out of a job. That's not hyperbole. That's the reality. When you lose games, lose fans, and lose credibility with your own quarterback all at once, your coaching career has a very short shelf life. So what happens next? Honestly, there are no good options. Stefanski could swallow his pride, start Shedeur Sanders next week, and try to piece together something resembling stability, but the damage is already done. Ownership could step in, force Sanders back into the starting role, and completely undermine their coach's authority, a move that might save the season but would destroy the trust between front office and coaching staff. Or the Browns could stay the course, keep Sanders benched, and continue their freefall into irrelevance, alienating fans, losing games, and making themselves the laughingstock of the league. Every path forward is riddled with landmines. And that's why this situation goes beyond Cleveland. This has become a league-wide conversation. How does the NFL as a business balance competitive autonomy with the reality that certain players drive ratings, drive engagement, and ultimately drive revenue? When one franchise makes a decision that tanks league-wide viewership, should there be intervention? These aren't just hypotheticals anymore. This is the new reality of the modern NFL. Make no mistake, the Browns are staring down an organizational crisis that reaches far beyond the field. Prime time slots are at risk. Ticket sales are falling. Corporate sponsors are asking tough questions. Local businesses that depend on game day revenue are worried. This isn't just a quarterback controversy. This is an economic, cultural, and reputational collapse. And all of it was avoidable. The solution was right there in front of them. Play Shedeur Sanders. Build your offense around him. Feed the excitement. Give the fans what they've been waiting for. Instead, the Browns chose arrogance over common sense. They chose dysfunction over stability. And now, the cost of that decision is spiraling out of control. So here we are. The fans are furious. The media is relentless. The league is concerned. The locker room is restless. And the Browns, once again, are on the verge of imploding in the most predictable way possible. And that leaves us with one final question. How long can Cleveland keep ignoring reality before anyone steps in and restores sanity to this franchise?